Good afternoon, everyone. We will have opening statements by the Secretary-General and the Prime Minister, and then we'll have some time for questions. Secretary-General.
Prime Minister Friedan, dear Luke, welcome to NATO. It's great to see you here, and congratulations on your appointment as Prime Minister. Luxembourg is a highly valued ally. Luxembourg was a founding member of NATO almost 75 years ago. Today, you continue to make many important contributions to our shared security. You participate in NATO's multinational battle group in Romania, helping to strengthen our deterrence and defense along the alliance's eastern flank. Luxembourg is also at the forefront of NATO's technological and innovation agenda, driving our work on space surveillance and critical satellite capabilities. You participate in NATO's Innovation Fund, which will help cutting-edge startups to address critical security challenges. Luxembourg is also investing in NATO's high-end capabilities, including the next generation of our AWACS early warning and surveillance aircraft. This is one of NATO's biggest ever joint capability purchases. I also welcome Luxembourg's commitment to modernize your own capabilities and step up defense spending. Thank you, Prime Minister, for your commitment to have a concrete plan to reach 2% by the Washington summit. This is key for fairer burden sharing on both sides of the Atlantic. I also want to thank you for Luxembourg's contributions to Ukraine, including through NATO's comprehensive assistance package. You also participate in an air defense coalition with 19 other NATO allies, helping to protect Ukrainian skies and save Ukrainian lives. The situation on the battlefield remains difficult, and Russia continues to launch waves of drones at Ukrainian cities and critical infrastructure. So we must step up and sustain our support. This is critical to help the Ukrainians weather the difficult winter ahead and to ensure Ukraine prevails as a sovereign, independent nation. This is the right thing to do. It is also in our own security interest. At our Washington summit next year, we will continue to adapt our alliance for the future, bolstering our deterrence and defense, responding to strategic competition and working even more closely with partners. So thank you again, Prime Minister, for your personal commitment to our alliance. I look forward to working with you as we prepare for the Washington summit. So once again, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Secretary General. Thank you for the warm welcome. And I would say my presence here today is the message. Because as I said to the Luxembourg Parliament when I started leading this new coalition 2 weeks ago, my first trip will be to the European Union and to NATO. I explicitly mentioned NATO because I believe, not only since I became Prime Minister, but also in many of my previous functions, that NATO is the key alliance to make sure that we have freedom, democracy, individual liberty, the rule of law, actually all these key words that are enshrined in the preamble of the treaty that created NATO 74 years ago. That is why I believe, especially for a small nation, that it's extremely important that we have allies who help us make sure that we remain a free and independent country together with our partners in Europe and our transatlantic friends, the United States and Canada. That was true in the past, where not everybody believed that, but I always stood for that, including when years ago we bought the A400M, we Luxembourg, which at the time was not in everybody's mind that we needed to build up capacity with and for our international partners who help us ensuring our stability and our peace. And that is even more true today, where we see that the principle of sovereignty, of independence, of rule of law are violated in this terrible war in Ukraine after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. we Luxembourgers know what it means if a bigger country invades a smaller one. Actually, our parents and our grandparents know it, and we were fortunate not to know it, my generation. So therefore, we believe that we have a duty towards our friends, towards those principles we strongly believe in. And that's why I came here today to tell the Secretary General of NATO that despite our small size, despite the fact that we do not have a huge army, that we are, of course, fully committed to get to the 2% that is foreseen in former commitments of NATO allies to spend enough to make sure that this collective defense, but also this collective ambition to preserve peace, stability, can be achieved. Together with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Minister of Defense, and of course you need the Minister of Finance, but we both were Minister of Finance at some time in the past, we will come up for the Washington summit next year with a plan to achieve this 2% of GNI expenditure for defense in the next decade, and we will present those plans at the Washington summit. Defense is a much broader issue than just military. The Secretary General alluded a little bit to it, and I think it's also true for NATO in itself. It has dimensions of terrorism, of cybercrime, of many other issues where it is important that our countries are well equipped to prevent our countries from being attacked from the outside. So in all those dimensions, together with my colleagues in government, as the new Prime Minister, I will work hard to make sure that we remain a committed and reliable ally of NATO, as we have been in the past, but we have to adapt that to the current circumstances. On Ukraine, I fully support what the Secretary General just said, and obviously he knows much more on the situation on the ground than many others. For us, and for me personally, it's also again a matter of principle. Ukraine is not just a country far away from us, by the way, it's not that far away, but it is about fundamental principles. Whether we accept that one country can attack another one with the aim of destroying it or taking away its independence and its sovereignty. So the war that is fought there, also the huge expenditures and support that we are giving, also Luxembourg, 16% of our defense expenditure goes to Ukraine, is there to make sure that lessons are learned for the future, that we are on the side of those who fight for democracy, who fight for sovereignty, who fight for independence, as we fought, or our predecessors fought, in World War II and before. That is the purpose of the war in Ukraine from our perspective. And that's why the new Luxembourg government will continue to support Ukraine as long as it takes, and we will of course do that with our allies and partners, because alone, obviously, we are too small to do that. But we are part of the international community, and that's why we are happy to be part of NATO. We are fully committed to NATO, and it is with that spirit that, together with my colleagues in government, especially the Minister of Foreign Affairs, with whom I will go to the summit next year in Washington. Thank you.